Xiangli Yao is Wuthering Wave's most capable quickswap character as of right now. Although he has a slightly more difficult learning curve compared to Xiangli, he is a lot more versatile, played correctly, and can have a massive impact on your team. So firstly, looking at his kit, without his Liberation State, he's able to gain Forte through using basic attack, heavy attacks, or his skill. Once his Forte is charged, his skill will change to this form, where you can easily just swap out. His second mode, or his Liberation State, you're going to be in 90% of the time. So after casting Liberation here, his Forte bar will change to 5 different charges, which are gained through doing basic attacks or his skill combo. And as you can see here, his skill has changed as when his Forte is charged. These 3 cubes that are circling around him are called Hyper Cubes, and every time he uses a fully charged Forte or skill, it consumes one of them. So like Brant, Xiangli Yao's general rotation is going to look something like this, because his Liberation skills have 3 instances where you can swap out and swap back in. If the Echo set you're using is the Void Thunder, then you'll want to use his skill before using his Liberation, because he gains a buff from using the skill. Because as you can see here, after using heavy attack or skill, his damage will increase. Skill doesn't exactly have to hit, you just have to cast it once. So sometimes you'll see people just use the skill and Liberation immediately without letting the skill connect like this. And that does more damage than if I were just to directly use the Liberation without using the skill. So Xiangli Yao's biggest AoE attack is going to be his Liberation. Xiangli Yao uses a cone detection system. It has a very big range as well, so it's harder to control than Xiangli's Liberation and Forte. However, it can pretty much group all of the enemies. It also has a pulling effect, so if there's an enemy over here and over here, they're going to get pulled towards the center. If you're playing him and you want to get the most out of his AoE attacks, then you'll have to position yourself in a way where all of the enemies are within his cone. He will snap to the closest enemy, so that means if he's over here, his action system will be somewhat like this, because the closest one would be this one over here. And so if you're trying to play him optimally, you want to position yourself in a location where you can reliably use his cone detection system to hit all of these enemies. So for his Quickswap Timings, first we have his skill, which you can just press E and swap out immediately. And then we have his Forte while he's not in his Liberation State, where you will swap out right after he does this spinny triangle move. And while he's in his Liberation State, there's 2 different combos that you'll be using quite a bit. The first one is with his skill, where you'll cast his skill and then swap out immediately. And after he does this uppercut animation, you swap back and swap out immediately again. Then after he lands on the ground, you can swap back in and then immediately use his Forte, which should be fully charged. So for example, if we use his Liberation right here, we're going to use his skill immediately and swap out. And after he does the uppercut, swap back in, swap out. And use his charged Forte right there. If you're looking for a more casual playstyle, you could also just swap twice. So first time when he uses his skill, and you carry on his mid-air attack animation. That's what I see a lot of casual players do, and just swap it out like that. Another combo is this hold attack or basic attack combo, where you'll essentially swap when you see this box appear or when he does this uppercut animation. And it's important that you swap back as soon as possible because it has a very tight window. After you swap back in, you'll perform this laser beam attack, which you can swap out. And by the time you swap back in, his Forte should be fully charged once again. There's 3 possible swaps, one right here. Swap back, swap out there, and use this Forte again. The first swap is right here. After he does that uppercut, and you see the box show up. So box show up, swap out, swap back in, and he's gonna do that hold attack, as you can see. And then by the time he's done with that, if Forte should be fully charged, which you can just use the skill and swap out.